The classic magical animal.
Yeah. This one's not so nice, though. This one's not your average unicorn at all. This one's very grumpy.
Right, I'm joined in the studio by Kaye Umansky. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Nice to be here.
Your first time at Fun Kids.
Yeah.
But it's not your first book by any means, right?
No, it's not.
So you brought with us, is it the 4th book in your series?
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit about Witch in Winter.
Well, Witch in Winter is, like you say, the 4th book. And the first 3 were all about Elsie Pickles, this little girl who works in a shop in a very, very dull town called Smallbridge.
Yes.
And she gets given this wonderful opportunity to go and house sit in a tower in the middle of the forest for this witch called Magenta. And she has some really, really good and exciting adventures there. It's very, very different to living in Smallbridge. You know, her life becomes completely different. And the 4th one is all about when the snow comes and the frost comes, and she is involved with a very, very nasty, evil kind of character, Jack Frost and his not very nice children. And she has to get rid of them because otherwise the snow and the frost won't go away.
And, I mean, that's bad for the town of Smallbridge, obviously. But
it's very bad because they can't get out of their houses. The snow is so deep that they would have to climb out of their top windows, and they're all too conventional and stuffy to do something so exciting as that. So they just stay in and hope it's all going to go away.
I mean, to be fair, for me, that'd be lovely because you get a sled.
Me
and you
too.
Just go down, can you? That'd be fab.
I love the snow.
Awesome. So, but what about Magenta? At the beginning of the book, she's kind of not around.
She isn't, and at the end of the book, she's not around either. In fact, in the last book, Elsie has to go and stay in the tower because there is no witch there. Magenta has gone missing. It's all a little bit sort of strange that the snow has come and the frost has come and Magenta has gone missing at the same time. Nobody knows where she is. Elsie has to try and track her down. Very, very, very scary it is.
Elsie's got a lot of responsibility now because also she's learning. She's fully magic. She's doing pretty well for herself.
She's learning to be a witch. I mean, in the first book, she went along and she had a little dabble. Magenta kind of says, you know, I think people ought to try things. Unless people try things, they don't know whether they're any good at it. But I think she has already sussed that Elsie is going to be a very good witch. So that's the reason why she goes away to stay with her sister for a week. And when she comes back, Elsie's already got 3 little spells at her fingertips. So she's doing really well.
She's starting to become pretty magical in her own right.
She is indeed. And at the end, in this 4th book, she is kind of a fully fledged witch. Really, she can pretty well do most things.
I didn't know whether to give it away, but yeah, she is. She's
improved all the way through. Books 1, 2, and 3, she was still learning. Book 4, she's getting really confident, and it's all about confidence, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
When you're
absolutely.
learning a new skill.
Yeah, and it's interesting because at the end of the book as well, you seem to imply there might be some more adventures on the way.
There might be. You never know. I'm not going to give anything away yet.
So what's it like writing Elsie? Do you love her? Do you feel like you just can channel her really easily when you write?
Yeah, she's kind of like me when I lived in a rather dull sort of place as a child, and nothing ever really happened. I come from it's the outskirts of Plymouth, down in Devon.
Okay.
Quite near Dartmoor, but we never really got out there because we didn't have a car, so you had to get a bus, and it took a long time. Life was I was an only child, and life was a little bit boring, and I was always hoping something exciting and adventurous was going to happen to me, and it kind of didn't really. So writing about it, that's the way that I get my adventures now. You know, it's all in my head.
Did you have your own Magenta? Did somebody come into your life that kind of gave you that?
No, not one, but there were teachers that kind of opened up ideas for me and told me that I could write, and told me that, you know, my mum was a music teacher, and so she encouraged me to sing, so music was a big thing for me as well. So people did come into my life and open up the opportunities so that life wasn't quite so dreary.
And this is where Elsie has come along and she's kind of got her own exciting life that you're writing about.
But she's got to keep it quiet when she goes back home to Smallbridge because they don't like it. The people in Smallbridge do not like magic. They are very, very untrusting of it, you know. No.
It's so weird, isn't it, that the people wouldn't like magic?
I know. Isn't that weird? But people don't.
Yes, well, yeah, clearly. Absolutely. So what's your favourite bit to write in this book? Is there one big adventure or one big...
Well, I really enjoyed the second book, which is called Wish for a Witch. The first one is called Witch for a Week.
Yes.
And so she goes and she just works for a week in the tower. But in the second book, she goes along and she goes to this magical superstore. And I really really enjoyed inventing the superstore and all the kinds of things. It's a sort of like weird, it's a bit like a cross between sort of Ikea and John Lewis, but with extra sort of magic. And all the people that go there are wizards and witches and goblins and sort of people involved in magic. And there's all stalls and things that you can buy, cloaks of invisibility and wands and things that go bang and things that go sparkle. And so I take Elsie all the way through this. And also you can buy, you can get sort of magical animals there as well. She has a big adventure with a unicorn when she's there.
The classic magical animal.
Yeah. This one's not so nice, though. This one's not your average unicorn at all. This one's very grumpy.
It must be so exciting. Do you look around the world, like, just when you're walking down the street and you think, I could use that, or I
a
could
bit?
that?
Yes, I do. I do, actually. I listen a lot to conversations I'm not very in restaurants. I'm a terrible eavesdropper, or if I'm waiting in a queue in the post office.
Excellent.
I like to listen to people's conversations, and they often say such funny things, and I kind of mentally make a little note and sometimes scribble it down on a piece of paper before I get home so that I can use it in a book. So if ever you see me in a restaurant, just don't say anything that you wouldn't want me to want me to use.
I mean, to be honest, you'd be bad company as well. I imagine whoever's sitting with you is like, can you talk to me and not
a
listen
little
to...
bit, rather than listen to the people on the table next door. Yes,
But it's hard not to, though, isn't it? Sometimes
it is.
I know that feeling.
It
exactly.
is.
So here at Fun Kids, we have a little quick fire round of questions for authors. When they
Gosh, I
first
hope they're
come
not
to
hard.
studio. Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Because this is your first time, so you've never done this one before.
Nope, I haven't.
And just want to get a feel for you as an author, really. So no pressure, don't worry.
No,
it's all fine.
okay.
So here we go. Do you prefer books or Kindles?
Oh, books.
Books, yeah, everyone says that.
Yeah.
Heroes or villains?
Oh, villains.
Straight away, right?
Yes, they're more dramatic.
Film adaptation or TV adaptation?
Oh, film.
Film.
Yeah, I love films.
This is just for you. Cheese or offal?
Oh, cheese! Come on, you know I love cheese. You've looked at my website,
I have,
haven't you?
Out of interest, which cheese? Which one would you go
Oh,
for?
I really actually like cheddar.
Cheddar?
Yeah, but I do like the lovely blue ones as well, and the sort of goat's cheese. Any sort of cheese.
Yeah.
Any sort of cheese. If you give it to me, I'm yours.
Brilliant. All right, we'll get some cheese on toast on the go later.
Thank you.
Writing or reading?
Oh, that's hard because I'm a big reader, but I love writing as well. It just depends on the mood. During the day, normally on most days I'm writing, but I read over breakfast and I read over lunch and I read on trains.
Wow.
I never write out of the house. I'm always in my little office. So reading, I can't choose between them. I can't.
Okay. That's generally one that trips up a lot of authors.
Yeah,
A lot of people
yeah.
can't answer that. Hogwarts or Narnia?
Oh, I think Narnia
Narnia.
because I read it as a kid. I mean, Hogwarts came much, much later. I was very grown up
Right.
when Hogwarts was invented. So, yes, Narnia.
Narnia. Laptop or write by hand?
Oh, I have a laptop, but I scribble. I scribble on bits of paper and in little notebooks and things. So my scribbles are important because I then use them when I go and work on my computer. But when I get up in the morning, I turn my computer on and I'm facing a blank screen. And it's exactly like looking at a blank piece of paper,
Yeah.
really. So both.
Both? Okay.
Yeah, both.
Winter or summer?
Oh, that's so hard because I love the snow. I absolutely love the snow.
Well, I thought that's why I asked. I thought maybe it would be.
But I also love the beach. I like extremes of weather. I like gales and wind, and I love the change of seasons. I would never like to live in a country where it was all snow, all
Same.
cold, or all hot. I love the fact that I live in a country where we've got bits of everything.
Lovely. Roald Dahl or Jacqueline Wilson?
Ooh, Roald Dahl. I'm sorry, Jackie, because I love her, and she has a friend, and I do love her. But Roald Dahl, I don't know, there's something so sort of wicked about him. His characters are just so naughty.
Very fun.
Yeah, and also I love fantasy, you see, and Jacqueline tends to write far more sort of realistic sort of books.
Yes.
Whereas I'm a fantasy lover.
Fantasy girl. This is going to be quite tricky, I think. Heathcliff or Jeremy?
Couldn't possibly say. You're telling me, asking me to choose between my two lovely pussycats.
Yes. In case anybody's listening, yes, that is confused. Yes, they're the name of your two cats, right?
Heathcliff is white with black spots, and Jeremy is black with white bits.
Right.
And Jeremy is sort of big and purry and fluffy, and Heathcliff is a bit sort of snooty and snotty, and only kind of like comes to you for affection when he's in the mood.
The classic
So they're
cat.
very, very different, and I couldn't possibly choose between them.
I'll let you off for that one.
Thank you.
Bookshop visit or school tour?
Oh, gosh. I love going into schools.
Yeah.
I do. I love meeting kids. I love big crowds because I'm quite big and noisy, and I like sort of being interactive, and we all sing songs and sort of, they ask questions, and it's all fun. But on the other hand, I love being quiet and walking around a bookshop and sort of looking at the shelves. Hard. Both.
All right,
oh, gosh.
I'm going to let you off that one. Paddington Bear or Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Every time I love Winnie the Pooh. I'm a big fan of Winnie.
Do you write 9 to 5 or do you write when you fancy? I guess you already said.
Well, it's often 9 to 5 when I've got a book on. Mm-hmm. When I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next, then it's when I fancy, really. And when I get stuck on a book, I take a few days off as well. Hopefully my brain is going to sort things out before I go back and work on it. So I'm not rigid about hours at all. I might write 3 days, and then I get to a hard bit in the book, and I might take the weekend off or something, and then come back to it the next week. That's how I do it.
Lovely. And finally, the last one is the most important one of all. Salt and vinegar or cheese and onion?
Cheese and onion.
Oh, no.
Come on. It's got cheese in it.
Of course. Of course it has. Of course, I should have known you would say that. Yes. Well, that's fair enough. Actually, yeah, you've stayed on brand for that one, to be honest.
I have.
Can't fault you at all. Brilliant. Well, Kaye, thank you so much for chatting to us about your brand new book.
Oh, it's been a real pleasure.
And it's out right now.
Yes,
everybody should go and buy Witch in Winter.
Yes, Witch in Winter. I hope they like it.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.